Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Pages of Chelsea. I am your girl, Chelsea, and this video is going to be about our February recap. Now, I've been hearing some things on TikTok saying that people don't like reading recaps, and I'm like, since when? There have been a thing since I've been reading, which has only been a year. But I do this more like a journal entry, kind of let you know the books that I've read. Are they worth it? Is it something that I recommend? Did I stay on track? Because I am also a mood reader. So, as you know, if you watched any of my other TBR slash hopeful monthly goals, I build my TBR based off of what I'm in the mood for at the start of the month. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's how I'm going to end the month. So that's why I do reading wrap ups. Okay. Now, so this is for February. Now, before we get started, I just want to let you know that February was a very rough month when it came to just life. It was cold in Dallas. We kind of had ice. We were kind of stuck in the house. And on top of that, I read a series that was so good that it put me in a reading slump. So we're going to get into it. I have my handy dandy Kindle here. So let's recap what I read. So let's start off at the beginning of the month. The first book that I read at the beginning of the month was the Hell Knight Academy books. Okay, by Drea Wells. And as you know, I always put the covers over here so that you can find the exact book that I read. Now, I read book 1 and book 2. Okay, Unshaken and one second, because I read some books. Let's see. Did I already return them? Let's see. I probably did. It's okay. It's okay. Let's see. I can pull them up though. Hell Knight Academy series. That's what it's called. So the first one is, and of course, when I need my Kindle to load, it's being slow. But it's okay. It's an e-reader. If I wanted it fast, I could get my iPad since I'm recording on my phone. Okay, so the first one is Unshaken, Unhinged, and Unbroken. So I read Unshaken and then I immediately read Unhinged. Let me tell you why. Because that first book, and if you follow me on Instagram, I've already posted a review about it, like a little picture. Didn't talk about it, just typed a little review about it. But that book, this series is, when I say a why choose series, this is what I mean. Why choose for me is, why choose one person when I can have multiples? Okay? And as my husband said, ma'am, you're greedy. And I said, yes. At my big age of 32, I guess I have found out that I am very greedy. Okay? So, with that being said, it is a why choose slash fated mate. I call it why choose because she kind of has choices. She doesn't have to accept her fated mates. Or in her case, she has fated mates, soul tethers, betrothed. Like, she has some options and she doesn't have to accept them all. So that's why I call it a why choose, because she still had to like make those connections concrete. So she chose to do them all. So let me start here. This is by Drea Wells. This is a female Black woman. It's the FMC. She's the main person. This is written by a Black woman. I love this series because I was looking for Black history. I was looking for books written by Black women because that's the POVs that I like. And I wanted something a little spicy. I didn't want just the typical girl and guy fall in love, go through relationship type things. And because I've been looking for the right white choose book or the right slash fated mates book, so I'm gonna give this a try. Now let me tell you, I didn't read this book even though it is on Kindle Unlimited. That's where I found it, but that's not where I read it. I found it on Hoopla for the audiobook. And because just the way my life was set up in February, I had to listen to the books. Okay. The accents of these men in these books, they sound like if Matthew McConaughey lived in Louisiana and was black. That is the best way that I can describe it. And I was here for it. One was calling her Kitten. One was calling her Sunshine. One was calling her It's Mia Moore. And I was like, give me all the nicknames. Give it to me all. Dark, dangerous. The series was beautiful. Okay. Now, I started reading book 3 and I had to stop because I literally read 2.5 books in 7 days. I had to stop because I didn't want the story to be over and I was processing so much of the world so quick that I needed a mental break. But with that being said, I also couldn't pick up another book. So this is a series that put me in a book slump because it was just so good. Drea Wells has officially gained a new fan. She has some other black fantasy books, some Omegaverse books, some witches books, and I like me some black fantasy with a lot of spice. Now this book does have a lot of spice. It's a very sensual book. Now, the other themes in the back of the book, just to let you know, it is angel demon kind of books along with werewolves and succubus, and it's a little bit of everything. And if you're not into the angels and demons and God and other paranormal things, this may not be for you, because I know sometimes we'll go fantasy, but that's a little too far. But if you don't mind that story about good versus evil and getting help from the least likely scenarios, then this book is for you. The way it started out was fantastic. A light witch had a little tryst with something that she didn't know was on the side of evil. And the way it started out with a banger. So I would recommend this book, this series at this point, to anybody who wants a dark academia, God angels, fated mate, Wachus, people of color book. Favorite series. I can't even say favorite book for this year, but definitely favorite series. Okay, so let's get to moving. We're almost 10 minutes in and we're only talking about 2 books. So definitely that was what I read. Now the next book I picked up, because I do have book club. I can't just always read what I want to read, and I feel like that keeps me well rounded if I just read what I want to read. So I like when my friends introduce me to new books. So not a new book. It's a new book, but not a new author. If you have been following me on any of my social medias, you know that me and my girlfriends are obsessed with Freida McFadden. Okay? Can do no wrong. We have read the Housemaid series, The Teacher, The Co-worker. Yes, The Co-worker. Yes, so we've read quite a few of her books because The Housemaid has 3 books, then The Teacher, then The Co-worker, and so this will be our 6th book, and it was The Surrogate Mother. Or this is Surrogate, I'm sorry. Of course, the picture's here. Now, this book, I'm going to be very honest with you. I think this is going to be my last Freida McFadden book, or our last one if I can help it. Because at this point, it's kind of becoming a little predictable. Like knowing where the twist will be like exposed. Like when you get about this far into the book, you'll know that this amount of the story will be exposed. So probably gonna take a little break so we can be surprised again. But the book didn't disappoint. And I was a little hesitant to read a book called The Surrogate, because I'm a new mom. My baby will be 2 this spring. And it's just something about playing with kids and birthing kids that just make me want to fight. So I was like, I don't know, but they really wanted to read it, and I try to be a team player. So we read it. Now, what I will say is I listened to this one too, because as I told you, the way my February was going, reading wasn't really happening. It was more of um listening to books. So what threw me off was this was the same voice actor that did The Coworker. And because we read that one in January, I was kind of getting the stories confused because it was the same voice. And I know voices and faces when it comes to entertainment. I'm like, I know that person from somewhere. Wasn't they in such and such? I mean, I know their name, but I do recognize that. So so that was kind of a hiccup. I kept kind of getting them confused. Because this one also takes place or starts off in an office setting. So my brain had a hard time of like switching them off. But the story was great. It, of course, Frida drops some twists and turns when you think people are on the FMC side or a person that she can trust. She will snatch that person from you. So you always kind of like side eyeing everybody like, can we trust you? Can we trust you? Can we trust you? And then it'd be like a couple of people or one person where you'd be like, dang, I didn't even think about you. I just knew we could trust you. So I will always recommend a Freida McFadden book if you're getting into thrillers and don't want to go too fast. They're always quick reads too. They're not like James Patterson books. So I would always recommend those. My mother loves Frida, as I said before. That is pretty much the only book like author that she reads or listens to is a Frida book. So we're trying to get her to open up her mind as well and like what she wants to listen to or read. But if my mom will listen to Frida, then anybody can give Frida a chance if you're getting back into reading. Now, Frida is also on Kindle Unlimited. A lot of Frida McFadden books are on Kindle Unlimited. And just a reminder, since we're kind of at the halfway point of what I read this month, Chelsea, find all of my books on Kindle Unlimited. That is how I shop because I am paying for Kindle Unlimited each month. I always start there when looking for books to read. If I cannot find anything there, as I always say, I go to my stuff your Kindle days, that books that I have bought that are actually on my Kindle account. Now, with that being said, I know that there's a lot going on with Amazon at the time of recording this book, boycotting, upset about not being able to own digital books. Once again, that is why I don't pay for digital books, because if I get locked out of my Amazon account or lose my Kindle or whatever, then I've lost access to all of these things. So I personally do stuff your Kindle days. Now, if there's an author that I like, such as Drea Wells, Natasha Bishop. Those are my 2 right now. Sorry, my husband and baby are grabbing something. Um, those 2 people, I will probably buy their books if I can. And honestly, I'm thinking really hard about getting the whole Hell Knight Academy series, like to own because I really enjoyed it. But yes, unless it's and Tanya Bird, because she has a series that I still have not finished from 2024 that I have to buy. It is not a Kindle book. And those are the 3 authors right now that since I've started reading that I know for sure, those are 3 that I will definitely buy their work to support. But if it's an indie author and I don't know if I'm gonna like your work, I'm either gonna do Kindle Unlimited, I'm gonna search on the books that I find, or I'm going to go to see what's on my library or Hoopla. And I pretty much use those for like popular books I see a lot on TikTok, Instagram, or some of my favorite book YouTubers talking about, because typically those are not on Kindle Unlimited. I will try libraries for those first before I buy. So that's how I do it. And that's why you always see my hashtag is books on a budget, because I'm using all the resources I have available. Okay. So the last book that I read in February was, I know y'all, I'm really thinking, what did I read? Hold on, let me check. Okay, guys, I had to actually go on my Fable account slash Goodreads, because I use both of those, to see what that last book I read, and it makes sense why I can't remember it. Now, this is going to be the book that we're going to have to discuss. Okay, I don't know what I do with my Kindle. It's okay. Let me get some water. I read my first Penelope Douglas book. Now, it is a book that I did get on a Stuff Your Kindle Day, and it was called Corrupt. It is a bully romance book. It was the first bully romance book that I would have read. And so I was giving it a try. I have heard of Penelope Douglas, not necessarily of this book, but I was like, it'll be a good introduction into her stuff. Um, I've listened to this book and read it on my Kindle. And let me just say, this was a no for me. I rated this book a 2.5. And the only reason I finished this book is because the whole premise is set around. Let me just say this without confusing you guys. Her godparents' older son, okay, so I guess they're god siblings. His three friends end up going to jail 3 years before the start of the book. They go to jail, they're released by the start of the book. The whole point of this book is because something happened 3 years ago where the main FMC was involved in, and they blame her for them being put in jail. So I'm gonna say this. Her god brother's three friends go to jail for 3 years. By the time the book starts, they're out. And the three friends plus the god brother blame her for them going to jail. And they basically want revenge. So the whole reason I stayed was because I'm trying to figure out, what did she do? Did she snitch? Did she have evidence? Did she present evidence? Did she testify? Did she know the truth about something and never speak up? Because I watch a lot of Law and Order, a lot of NCIS. I watched that stuff. CSI back in the day. If you know, you know. So I'm like, what did she do? Like, why are we blaming her? And I say revenge. I'm not like, oh, just cute, like, BDSM stuff. Like, no. These people like stealing money, burning stuff down, kidnapping people before you even get to the romance aspect of it, y'all. And I was so confused because I was trying to figure out if I liked this book or not. I'm like, I'm okay with a little rough, You got to be a little rough with her because, But I was like, we doing a little too much. And when I found out what happened, sorry, y'all, I have a very talkative child, if you can hear her. When I found out what happened, I said, so we mad for that? I said, oh no, Oh no. Oh no. Mm-mm. Oh no. So the whole point of the book itself was stupid. Okay. Now, very few books do I say that. Sometimes it's like, oh, it wasn't for me. I get the premise. I understand the point, but there's some things that just not for me. No, this one was dumb. Okay. It was dumb. We did a whole bunch of extra stuff that didn't need to be done, excuse me, because it's still dumb. But we did a whole bunch of extra stuff that didn't need to be done. And you can tell that the plot is very male driven because the decisions that these males were making was a turn off, all the way off. I wanted to close the book. So, Corrupt is going to be the least favorite book of 2025 so far. No, I'm sorry, it's not. It's the second least favorite book of 2025 so far. If you know, go back to January's video if you want to know what book was the least, January's wrap up. If you want to know what book was number one, it's a no for me. I'm hard pressed to give Penelope another chance. So, but if you love Penelope and you think there's another book other than Corrupt that's a little tamer, because that bully romance is not for me. I don't think I'm gonna ever read another bully romance. Killed it, done. I don't want nothing to do with it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, this is not the last book I read. I also read the Windsor series. This book, I cannot remember the name of that book. We're also gonna take a break off of that series. That book was long. It was good. It was just long. It was drawn out, and I understand why, because they had a lot of history, a lot of ups and downs. So there was a lot of background information we needed, but I'm definitely gonna take a break from that series. We're 4 in, we only have 2 more to go. And that is also a book club book, so we're taking a break from that series. Still love it. I would still recommend it. But I would recommend give the Windsor, spread that out. Don't read that all in 1 month. That is definitely a long term series. Give yourself a breather, because it can be a lot. There's a lot going on. Yeah, love Windsor. Aries and Raven are still my favorite. Then of course Luca and Valentina, and then these last two, they can fight it out for the middle, because I don't know right now. Like, I don't know. We got 2 more siblings to go through. But that's how my February went. It was a very slow month, but it was a very interesting month. I found some loves, I found some hates, I found some good vibes, I found some comfort in things that I've already watch. Sorry, y'all. I also watch TV this month. Um, I found comfort in some things that I already knew. So February was a good month. Black History Month wise, I also did not. If you watch my February TBR Hopefuls month, I also did not read 2 books, which makes me sad because I hate when I fail in life. But it's okay. We'll just move them around. There's still books that I want to get to. Maybe 1 book will be in my March TBR. You have to watch the next video to find that out. But other than that, I hope you guys had a great month in February. I hope you had a great Black History Month. I hope reading is finding you solace. I hope reading is a safe space for you. And I hope you're exploring wonderful worlds with wonderful characters and finding new artists / authors, because I definitely think they're artists, for creating these wonderful places with these beautiful stories. But I'm going to go, and I will see you next month at March's TBR. Bye, guys. Thanks again. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on all social media platforms. Bye.